Hello everybody, it's George from ShopTo here, and today I have my Mass Effect Andromeda review summary video. So my written review went up yesterday, and I am summarising it for you guys on the YouTube who don't want to read the review, which is perfectly fine, because I would personally rather listen to a video rather than read a full review. So without any further ado, let's get into what I thought. So I've done what I usually do and break it down into several categories. My initial thoughts were covered in a video the other day. If you didn't see that, I'll link it down in the description. So we're going to go straight in with the story. And I was really happy to find that I could just jump straight into Mass Effect Andromeda without knowing hardly anything about the previous games, because this is my first Mass Effect game, so I had no idea what happened in the past, and I felt like, well, obviously I don't know for sure because I haven't played the previous games, but I felt like I kind of understood what was going on and I could just join in this story where I did, and it wasn't going to be a massive problem, which was really, really nice, because I was kind of worried that I'm going to be like, oh, I'm stepping in to a very famous game series here with no previous knowledge of what's happened beforehand. So it was really nice to know that I could just jump in. The story itself seems very story-driven, obviously, it's a story, but there's a lot of cutscenes, and I'm personally kind of okay, that kind of not. The first hour of the game felt like I spent more time watching cutscenes than actually playing, which kind of sucked, because I do like to, you know, if I buy a game, I want to play it straight away instead of watching a huge story, but it's not that bad. I mean, it did kind of get me into the story and let me know what was going on, as well as, you know, teach me about the characters and everything like that. So it was kind of good, but there was, in my opinion, a bit too many cutscenes in the early days. Overall, the story is really, really nice. I'm enjoying it so far, and I am looking forward to playing some more and exploring some more planets to see where the story goes and see how I can progress and what happens in the end, because it is one of those stories that's going to kind of grip you and make you want to play it to the very end. Gameplay, it feels good and maybe a little bit boring at times. Sometimes you do spend an awful long time walking to places, whether it be on a ship or on a new planet or something. You tend to spend a heck of a lot of time just wandering around doing nothing, because there's no enemies to shoot or anything like that, especially when you're on a ship. You haven't really got anyone to shoot at. But you kind of just tend to spend ages walking places, which can be a little bit boring. But, you know, it makes the whole game, it's the complete game experience. I guess it makes it more realistic. The HUD is a little bit confusing to me. Sometimes, especially when I'm on a ship, I find it really hard to follow the objective. Although it doesn't have an up or down arrow to show you if you've got to go up or down stairs or anything like that, I still find it a little bit tricky to find exactly where I'm going, especially on the ships, as I said, but also in missions, it kind of confuses me. The whole UI and, like, navigating planets and the solar system, or whatever you want to call it, kind of thing, feels a lot like No Man's Sky and Astroneer, which isn't bad because they're both, well, they're both good games in their own right. People may argue with No Man's Sky, but I kind of thought it was a pretty cool game. The interactions with other humans and aliens are really, really nice. You can talk to them, you can choose what you're going to say, although I haven't noticed a situation where my response has changed their emotions. Maybe that's because of the animations, which I'll come to in a second, but I feel like regardless of what I say to them, they're just going to say the same thing anyway, or they're not going to get angry or be like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that, that's so nice, or anything like that. They just seem to have a straight response. So yeah, the gameplay is pretty good. I'll come to the combat in a little bit as well, because that kind of features in gameplay, but a little bit more. So graphics, world design and feel. The graphics, I'm playing PC Ultra settings here. It's probably not going to look that good to you on YouTube because of the compression and whatever else happens. But I was a bit disappointed. Like right here, scenes like that where you got a close-up of your character, the graphics look fantastic, but in some scenes they just look really, you know, Like when you're looking out the window of a spaceship or anything like that, anything you can see just kind of looks a bit plain, a little bit like they haven't kind of gone and touched that. They just kind of put it there and left it there. Whereas the up-close detail is really, really nice. I am going to touch on the animations. I did notice them, and they are kind of significant, and they do, as I've said in my review, take away from the immersion when you look at someone and their face is just completely plain or it's looking completely random. It's just so weird. I don't understand how they let that happen. Like, how can you release a game without realising that everybody's face looks weird? Like, there's such a key component of the game, especially because you have to talk to everyone all the time, and they managed to get it that wrong. But I'm sure this will be patched and sorted out, as well as the graphics maybe. I did notice a few graphical issues. But overall, it looks pretty good if you can get past the facial expression issue, which, as I said, I'm sure will be patched out and fixed soon. The combat is really, really nice. I really like the third person, like over the shoulder, zoomed in kind of look. Maybe it should be quite accurate, but I do also like the fact that there's quite a lot of recoil, because all the games I play right now there's like minimal recoil, so it's not really very skillful. It means you can just spam a load of bullets into whatever you're shooting and they're dead. Whereas with Mass Effect, you kind of have to tap fire, otherwise you're just going to be shooting straight up in the sky, which is really, really nice. It makes it a little bit more different, you know. And I did notice that the headshots are kind of easy to get. The enemies kind of don't like hide their heads, and their heads are kind of big, so they are kind of easy to get, especially with the target reticle you've got in the middle of the screen. It's really, really nice, and it enables you to really be accurate with their heads and go for headshots really easily. You can upgrade weapons with loot you find in crates, which is really cool also, because it enables you to put scopes on weapons, which turns it into that kind of like first person thing where you can aim down a scope and be really, really accurate, which I do like because I am a fan of first person shooters. Most of the games I play are first person shooters, so being able to have that kind of cross between third person running around and then first person aiming down sights, kind of like you do with Ghost Recon, but it only works for scopes on this, not just every gun, is really, really nice. Overall, I think Mass Effect Andromeda is a solid game. It has many good features and mechanics, and I love the setting, story, and overall aim of the game. However, it is let down by some things that are too big to ignore, in the form of facial animations and graphical lapses. Don't be afraid to pick up this game though, as I'm sure these issues will be sorted out by a patch in the very near future, and the game is very enjoyable regardless of the problems that are there. It's not my favourite open world style RPG out right now, but it's right up there with the likes of Horizon and Wildlands, and I would say if you're looking for a futuristic space kind of game, this one is the one to go for. As I mentioned, No Man's Sky and Astroneer, both pretty good games in their own right, but this kind of combines everything together, gives you that intense story, RPG aspects, and kind of makes it, you know, the best option out of the three. But as I said, Horizon to me is phenomenal. This is close, but it's not quite Horizon. But it is a good game nonetheless. I did play this on PC. The install size was about 40 gigabytes, and as I said, I was playing on ultra settings, and I still did notice a few issues with the graphics. So that pretty much wraps it up. You can read the full written review down in the description, and also grab a copy down there if you're interested. Be sure to keep an eye on ShopTo news on the website, because I do update that daily and there's a load of news going on there. So come join our community if you want. We've got quite a lot of people on there already, talk to each other on the daily. We've got community on PS4 if you want to join that as well. I'll leave all the information to that down in the description. My name has been George. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry this was a little bit long. I kind of rambled on for a little bit longer than I wanted to. But it's all good. I love making videos, so I'm not really too worried. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.